You are sitting on a low stone wall in the courtyard of a beige villa in Casal di Principe, 20 kilometers north of Naples. It is a hot afternoon in 2010. There is a dark car at the gate with two men in tracksuits drinking espresso from paper cups and watching the road. There is a Heckler and Koch under your light cotton jacket. There is 2 million euros in cash inside a plain leather duffel in the trunk of a different car parked behind the villa. You are 40 years old. In 15 years you will be arrested in a stone bunker behind a kitchen wall. Right now, you are a Capozona, the district boss of 7 kilometers of southern Caserta. This is your life as every rank of the Camorra, Italy's most secretive, most violent, and most unkillable mafia. Rank 0. You are a Neapolitan child. It is 1985, and you are 10 years old. You live on the 8th floor of one of the H-shaped concrete towers of La Valle di Scampia in the northern outskirts of Naples. There is no elevator. The stairwell smells like piss and gasoline. Your father works at the port loading ships when there is work, and he sells stolen Marlboros from a folding table on the corner when there is not. Your mother takes in laundry. Your older brother does not come home some nights, and your mother does not ask him where he was. You learn the rules of the courtyard before you learn to read. You do not look directly at any man over the age of 20. You do not speak to police. If a stranger asks where someone lives, you have never heard of anyone in the entire building. You are nobody. The men of the courtyard call you Guaglione, kid. They give you a 1,000-layer note one afternoon to walk 3 blocks and tell a man with a green mustache that his wife is looking for him. You do not understand what you have just done. The next morning, the man with the green mustache is dead in his car. You understand a little better. Rank 1. You are a Ragazzino. It is 1986, and you are 11. The men have noticed you. You stand at the corner of Via Limitone d'Arzano for 4 hours every day after school, with your hands in your pockets, and you watch. When a strange car turns onto the street, you whistle. When the police drive through, you whistle differently. You are paid 2,000 lire a day in coins, and a Coca-Cola at lunch. You are a lookout. The men of your courtyard now nod at you when they pass. Your mother does not ask where the coins come from. Your older brother does not look at you anymore. Rank 2. You are part of a Paranza. It is 1991 and you are 16. The boss of your block, a man named Don Salvatore, who runs heroin out of a basement under a butcher shop, has decided you are ready. A Paranza is a small group of 3 or 4 young men on motorcycles. Your job is to deliver. Sometimes envelopes. Sometimes plastic bags wrapped in newspaper. Sometimes weapons. You ride pillion behind a boy 2 years older than you. He drives, you carry. You wear a full-face helmet so the cameras at the entrances of the projects cannot identify you. By the end of the year, the boy who used to drive you is shot dead in front of a tobacconist by a Paranza from the other side of Scampia. You drive now? Rank 3. You are a Soldato. It is 1997 and you are 22. After 6 years of running for the Paranza, you have done your first stesa. A stesa is when a Paranza rides slowly through a rival neighborhood at 3 in the morning, firing automatic weapons into the air, and at storefronts, and at parked cars, just to remind the people who live there who their landlord is. After your first stesa, Don Salvatore takes you into the back of the butcher shop and embraces you and gives you a small leather wallet with 200,000 lire in it. You are now a member of the clan. You wear a thin gold chain. You have a small white Fiat Panda. You collect the pizzo from 12 businesses in your section every Friday. The pizzo is a protection payment. The protection is from you. Rank 4. You are a Sgarrista. It is 2000 and you are 25. The word Sgarrista comes from scaro, which means an offense, and it is the rank you reach when the clan has assigned you to commit one. You are taken to a parking garage under a hospital one night. A man you have never met is in the trunk of a car. Don Salvatore hands you a Czech pistol and tells you that this is the man who tried to short the clan 3,000 euros on a heroin shipment. He tells you to walk it. You walk it. You stand on the asphalt for a full minute afterwards, holding the gun and shaking. Don Salvatore does not say anything. He drives you home. You sleep without nightmares. You sleep with nothing at all. Rank 5. You are a Camorrista. It is 2003 and you are 28. The Camorra, unlike the Sicilian Mafia, has no formal initiation. There is no oath of blood and no burning of saint cards. You become a Camorrista the day the senior men of the clan decide they trust you with the books. You start being told the names. You learn that Don Salvatore is the Capozona of 3 blocks. Above him is the boss of his clan, a man you have never met and never will. Above that boss are 7 other clans tied together by a federazione, an alliance. You learn that the women of the clan are not symbolic. The wife of your boss handles the money. His sister runs the cocaine dock at the port of Naples. Their mother decides who gets killed. The Camorra has more women in command than the rest of European organized crime combined. You understand now why nobody outside ever solves anything. Rank 6. You are the Capozona. It is 2008 and you are 33. Don Salvatore is dead, a stroke at 54, slumped over an espresso at the bar at Vela H. And the clan has voted you into his block. You now have 8 Ragazzini and 4 Paranze and 2 Soldati under you. You collect the pizzo from 46 businesses. You handle the heroin distribution for the eastern half of Scampia. You attend the weekly meeting of the 7 Capozona in a private room above a wedding restaurant on Via Manzoni. You learn that the heroin coming through your section has been replaced by cocaine, because cocaine has tripled in margin since 2005, and because the Casalesi have opened a direct line from the port of Gioia Tauro to a Calabrian shipping consortium. You start sleeping with a beretta under your pillow. Your wife sleeps with one under hers. Rank 7. You are a boss. It is 2013 and you are 38. The boss of the De Loro clan above you has been arrested in a pre-dawn raid by the Carabinieri. You are voted in as the new boss. You move out of Scampia. You buy a house on the Vomero Hill above Naples with a view of the bay, and you put your wife and 2 children in it. You begin to wear suits. You stop wearing the gold chain. You attend funerals in dark sunglasses with 3 men in tracksuits standing behind you. You hire 2 lawyers and a tax accountant. The clan above you, the Casalesi Federation, calls you to a private dinner at a villa in Casal di Principe. You are introduced to 4 other bosses. You are now part of the Federazione. The men at the table are responsible for 1/3 of all cocaine arriving in Western Europe, rank 8. You are a capo of the Federation. It is 2018 and you are 43. There is no capo dei capi in the Camorra. There is no Don Vito Corleone. There has not been one for decades. The last man who tried to be the boss of all bosses was Rafael Cutolo in the late 1970s, and the rest of the Camorra responded by killing his men until he was alone in a cell on the island of Asinara. You learn from his story. You sit at the Federation table as one of 7 equals. You decide trade routes. You decide which young captain gets which province. You sign no documents. You speak no boss's name out loud. The Italian state has 30,000 wiretaps active in Naples on any given day, and you behave as if every meeting is on every one of them. Rank 9. You are Latitante. It is 2025, and you are 50. The Carabinieri's Reparto Operativo Speciale has issued an arrest warrant for you under Article 416 bis of the Italian Penal Code, which is the article that exists only for people like you. You disappear that morning. You become a latitante, a fugitive. You move into a hidden room in the back of a cousin's farmhouse outside of Casa Pacena. The room is 2 meters by 3 meters. There is a fold-out cot, a small refrigerator, a portable toilet, a flat-screen television, and a beretta. The entrance is behind a sliding kitchen wall that looks like an ordinary cabinet of pasta jars. You will live in this room for 15 years. You will run the Federation by hand-signed paper notes, carried in and out by your wife and your sister and your mother. You will not see direct sunlight for entire seasons. The Italian press will list you among the 10 most wanted men in Europe. Your file will be the size of a city phone book. Rank 10. You are arrested. It is 2040 and you are 65. The ROS specialists have been on you for 9 months. They followed your sister to a doctor's appointment and noticed a bag of medication that did not belong to her. They followed her again 2 weeks later. They followed her every week for 6 months. They eventually traced her to a farmhouse outside of Casa Pacena, and they sat in unmarked vehicles for 43 days, documenting every vehicle that arrived. On a Tuesday morning in October, 18 helmeted carabinieri walk into the kitchen at 6 a.m. and pull the false wall down. You are sitting on the cot in your underwear watching a soccer match on mute. You do not run. You do not raise the beretta. You smile and you stand up and you ask them, in Neapolitan, if you can put on pants first. They say yes, The image of you, walking out of that farmhouse in handcuffs and a tracksuit jacket and house slippers, smiling slightly at the cameras, will be on the front of every Italian newspaper the next morning. You are sentenced to life under Article 41 bis, the hardest prison regime in Italy. You will spend 23 hours a day in a cell smaller than your fugitive room. You will be allowed 2 phone calls a month, watched by a magistrate. You will not see your wife in person, except through a glass partition. You will read books. You will refuse to give the names of the 7 other men at the Federation table. None of them will give yours either. The men outside will continue to run the same routes you ran, with the same families behind them, in the same neighborhoods you grew up in. In your cell at night, you sometimes think about the man with the green mustache, the one your 10-year-old self walked 3 blocks to find. You wonder if he was somebody's father. You wonder if he had a son who is now sitting on a low stone wall in a courtyard somewhere, watching a road with a beretta under his jacket. You decide it does not matter. The Camorra does not have a beginning and it does not have an end. It is what Naples does instead of having a state. It will outlive you. It will outlive your son. It will outlive the building you grew up in. This was your life as every rank of the Camorra.